Hi, it's Kay here from CoolKatzCraft, and I'm going to show you how to edge our fantastic new dice storage system with Architape. You don't have to edge it with Architape if you don't want to. You do need the wider Architape that comes with the kit for the hinges, but you don't need to go around the outside, but I think it looks really professional if you do, and it's in the kit, so it's entirely up to you. Maggie's going to take over from me after this point, and she's going to put the spines together with our new hinge spaces. So I'll get on with it. So I'm using a narrower tape, and I'm going to cover 3 sides of one of the square pieces of MDF. And I peel back a piece, and I'm going to put it into the middle of my tape like so, and then move round to the second side, and you're halfway on the tape like that, and then on to the third side. I'm just going to peel it off. Whoops, and this tape is peeled off. Let's get that bit off. That's it. And for the third side, like that. Oops, like that. Okay, and then I'm going to trim across here, and you want it quite close, so you can do that if you want. It doesn't matter if it's slightly short, but it doesn't need to be over, because it will affect how the hinge spaces work. So now, as I do for my album, I just pinch that so I get a nice sharp crease on both sides, but it's not touching, so it's not going to stick on that side and that side. And then I'm going to cut across there and there, not quite into the corner. So if I do one, and I'll pick it up and I can show you what I've done. Unfortunately, I have to do it towards me so I can see what I'm doing. So as you can see, I've done that, like that, and then I'm going to cut off those little corner and that little corner. Just makes life easier in a minute, and you end up with a little bit tag thing like that. You do exactly the same on this side. So you get that little corner like that. Just take these little ends off. Okay, now I'm going to ease these pieces back. Let's take that a bit off. Okay, and then I'm going to just use a little bit of tension and pull that towards me and stick it down like so. And exactly the same on the other side. Back, push down. So it looks like that, and you are being careful not to put these onto the back of the board, so you end up with something like that. Now I'm going to use my Teflon tool, and I'm going to just ease it up and burnish it to the MDF, and but all round all 3 sides. And this is, I say, exactly the same technique as I use for doing my grey board. Okay, and the first side is a little tricky because the second side you can put it face down. So you end up with some nice corners like that. And you do exactly the same for the other side. So I'll just get on and do that. And there's YouTube videos on our CoolKatz YouTube channel on how to cover an album using this technique, and we'll also put one up for the dies very soon as well, for the die storage system as well. So again, this time I can put it flat, which does make it a little bit easier, and then a little bit of tension and push down. Again, a little bit of tension and push down. And now I'll just use my finger just to push that into there. And then bone folder to burnish, and obviously you burnish, burnish and burnish again, because you can never burnish too often. Okay, so just burnish that round and you get a nice, neat finish your sides. And then you do exactly the same for the flap. So you do one square like that, and you do exactly the same for the flap that folds over. On these pieces, I just top and tear it. So I'm going to put a piece there and a piece on there. So I'll just carry on doing that. I'm just cut this little bit off, and then I'm going to stick this side on. Okay, so just top and tail it basically. Oops. So I think that's Maggie sneaking into the unit. You can hear her. You can say hello.
Hello. I'm being so quiet.
Well, it looks like you can be in two places at once. There we go, so I'm just going to trim that to the edge. Again, you want it to the edge exactly, or slightly under, because if you have it over, it will affect the hinge spaces. So then I'll take one side, use my Teflon tool, and burnish that like that. And then on the other side, do exactly the same. And I'm going to do all four sides. As you can see, I've now done those sides, and I've done the end flap, walked three sides, and I've done the other end piece here. Hi, it's Kay here again, and I'm going to show you how to put together the die storage kit to make a complete folder. Okay, so I've used our layout, which says it's 1/2, 3/4 and 1 inch in between each one, and I'm starting on this side, which is the end, so it's the three ones that's 3/4 covered, and we'll finish on this side, which is the flap. Again, that's the one that's 3/4 covered. Okay, so I'll just first I'll start with the smaller one, and I'll work my way down the sizes. So I've already peeled off a little bit of tape off here. Let's peel that back, and I'm going to position this on the wider tape about like that. And again, I've used waste, tear off, top and bottom. This helps to stop the hinge spaces sticking too much to the tape. And I position the bottom one and the top one. I say this is exactly the same technique as we use for doing our albums. And then so I'll offer this up, so that fits there, that fits there, and when they're both in the right position, press that down and remove my hinge spaces. Now I know that's going to be 1/2 inch, and that's straight across the top and the bottom. So let's peel back the backing and put this back up. And what I tend to do is I pull this with a slight amount of tension before I press down, and lift up, and just burnish that end, and then do exactly the same on this side. And obviously you've cut your tape so you've got a little bit of an overlap either side. So when you're happy, just burnish top and bottom, and then I'll go in with my bone folder on the side, and I just ease it into position. And burnish, because obviously you can't have too much burnishing. Turn over and just put more burnishing. I think I've got the tool that Maggie used for cleaning the oven at one of our classes last year. There we go. And then you can see you've got a hinge that does that. So then I'll move on to the next size, which is going to be our 3/4. So I'll take some tape, again peel it back, and just exactly the same technique again. This time I must make sure it's got, it's a little bit wider, so you just want to make sure that you've got plenty of overlap. So that's about 1/3. And the waist, just go top and bottom. And you can see why it's important that when you've done these bits on this side, you don't go over, because that way you'll stop these being a nice tight fit, which is a nice 90 degrees. So this is a 3/4 one going at the top and 3/4 at the bottom. And then I'll use the middle panels and I'll just offer it up again, and it just sits in, and when I'm happy just press down there and remove my hinge spaces. So I now know that is 3/4 inch and it's straight top and bottom. So peel that back and press that down. So if you see a tiny little bit of crease in there, that's fine. You can just burnish that out. And obviously make sure you've got your seams all on the same side, on the inside. And then press that across. Burnish down. And turn over. And our tape works really well at the end here. So now I've got that folds over there and that fold over there, like that. Okay, and then for the final hinge, I've obviously got our widest one, which is 1 inch. So I've got my tape. I'll peel that back. So now what you need to remember is that obviously this is going to be wider in the centre. So you don't want to go over too far this way. So I'll just offer it up about there, I think. Okay, got our waist, top and bottom. Like that. And like that. I'll put our hinge spaces in. So the top one goes in like that. Bottom one. Okay, so I now know that's going to be 1 inch. And then this is for the flap that folds over. And then press. Move hinge spaces. And then exactly the same as you've done before is you want to just burnish that a bit here, take that off, and then I'll just use a tiny bit of tension just to bring it up, and then press fold flat. Same on the top, and I've got all my seams are on the inside. And you can cover. Just press into the crease like that. That's obviously the widest one because that's the one that's going to have to fold over the most. And then I've got die storage like that, and then the next part I was going to show you just how to put the magnetic sheets in. Hi, it's Kay again, and I'm going to show you how to put the magnetic sheets in, or how I put the magnetic sheets in. Excuse me. They come in, you have 4 A4 sizes, and what I tend to do is I'll use a guillotine. If you want to use a cutter, it's up to you. And I'll just mark off, it's just 8 1/4, just over 8 1/4, and then I know that's going to be a square. So do 8 1/4, and I've already done that, and then you have that excess that you can use for something else in a minute. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take my guillotine out, because I've done 3 already. So I have done these 3 already. And I'm going to put them on this side, that one, and on that one. And then when it folds over, this is decorative, that's decorative, and that's decorative. Okay, so I'll start off with this side. So what I tend to do is quite simple. I've got the square now. I'm now using our alignment guides, and I'm using the 3/4 of an inch one at the top. And I'm going to peel off part of it. I'm just going to crease it there. And then I'm going to off it up And then you can see when it's centralised. I'll get my head out of the way so you can see. So when I'm happy with that straight at the top and centralised, which I'm not at the moment, you can do it at the bottom if you prefer, or you can do it at the bottom. I might do it at the bottom. Might be easier so you can see. So that's in the centre of my panel. So I can centre that up. And when I'm happy, I'll push that down and then just peel the backing away and just press down. And that's one done. I'll just work our way across. Let's do the second one. So, my 3/4. Measure that halfway like that. Peel the backing off. And when you're happy, it's in the right place. And just press down on it a little bit, lift it up, pull back. It's very simple. And we'll just move across to this one. Oops. Okay, and just move and do exactly the same for this one as well. So I'll peel back part of it. Just, that's a crease because it's easier to coat with. I'll get my alignment tool, and I'm using 3/8 again. And I centre that. And then, oops, when I'm happy, I'll press down. It's nice and even all the way across. Oops. Pull that back. And I've got a little bit of tape there. I'll use a little bit, tiny bit. I'll use one of Maggie's little cheats and put a little tiny bit of pen there. And then the final one. So we'll put that in the right place. So position my alignment tool so it's halfway. I'm happy, let's push that down, pull that back, and I can now put my magnetic sheets there, and then ready for decoration. So what you can do if you want to put this as a magnetic fit closure, then what I tend to do is from the waste, because you get quite a bit of waste left over, so you've got plenty, you can use these in your albums or for more die storage, entirely up to you. So from that I cut out two pieces of 2 1/4 wide, and I put one and on there. I'm doing it by eye. I probably ought to be doing it by using my alignment tool, but I did it by eye. Press that down. Now what you tend to find is that it has a polarity. So one side sticks better than the other side. You can just feel it. It's just a feel thing. So that's quite secure. So it's on that side. So what I tend to do then is put that on like that. Then I peel the back while it's still stuck down. And then position this, make sure it's nice and straight. Move that across. And push that down. Give it a push. And that's my magnetic closure. So nice magnetic closure. And I'm ready for decorating and storing all my dies. Well, a selection of my dies. Thank you.